Democrats freaking out over how their Trump panic porn is bombing with voters. Axios reporting, quote, senior Democrats, including some of President Biden's aides, are increasingly dubious about his theory for victory in November, which relies on voter concerns about Jan 6, political violence, democracy, and Donald Trump's character. The dissenters worry they'll get booted from Joe's inner circle if they dare raise concerns in front of the big guy. And here's another way Trump doom fantasies could backfire. The media is giving Republicans the best reason yet to vote for Trump.
There's been a lot of talk about Trump seeking retribution if he gets into office. Yeah. He is so vindictive that he will go after, however he has to, through the IRS maybe, or even, through sponsors to get us off the air maybe, or you.
I'm worried about all of us. I'm no more worried about me than I am worried about everybody in the country. I think it's bad to have somebody saying, give me as much power as you can in this country so I can use it to go after other Americans, so I can use it to go after these subhuman internal enemies, and I'll destroy them.
Thank you, Wally Cleaver. So, Harold, here's what I want to know. When people predict that these things about Trump, they assume that he is vengeful, which I have not seen. I just see him as always moving on. But the other thing, shouldn't they actually say how it would work? Like, if Trump is going to get The View canceled, how would that actually work?
I listen to those who talk about the former president. If he's elected, he will go about being revengeful. And I've heard the president say his success or revenge would be his success.
Yes.
I wish he wouldn't even use the word revenge. I just wish he would say, look, I'm going to make the country so great and so smarter and so richer and so healthier. People won't even think about those things. But I think the more he mentions those words, the more you invite some of the things that are being said. Two, 300,000 voters will decide the race. We say it all the time. 6 or 7 states are the key states. There's a new Marist poll out today showing that as we head into this debate on June 27th, that we're in a dead heat, that the two candidates are in a dead heat nationally. And then if you look at the voters who are most likely to vote in November, Mr. Trump has a 1-point lead. Now, the poll also says, if you read, I read the crosstabs because I'm a nerd. It says that one of the reasons that the numbers have come a little bit back for Biden is that non-white voters have come a little bit back to Biden, and independent voters were affected, or have seemed less likely now to vote for President Trump after the trial here in New York. The good thing for President Trump is that his numbers seem to stabilize. None of his supporters, his strong base supporters, are leaving. Finally, I wish and hope, and I've said it now for a while, I hope that the campaign gets focused more on what you're going to do for the country and how you're going to make people's lives better over the next 4 years. The talk about democracy and all those things, I get it, but I'm not convinced that that's what's going to win the election. It may get the base excited. I understand some of that exercise, but at the end of the day, having an actively negative message running for president has never worked. Mr. Trump sometimes is negative, and Mr. Biden is sometimes negative, talking about democracy and the things he talks about. Talk about Americans and what you're going to do to make our lives better. That's always been the winning approach.
I think you're hitting on the problem for the Dems is that they're relying on hypothetical doom scenarios where all Trump has to do is point out at the realities of American life under Joe Biden, and there's no contest.
Well, or if you're pointing out the scenario of the IRS going after people, I would just remind folks of Lois Lerner, where the IRS had to, confess and admit they did things wrong in targeting conservative groups and apologize to them. So that actually has happened under a different administration. But I think you're exactly right. A lot of people, well, as usual, a lot of people have no idea who some of these folks are. And you've got like former FBI Director Andy McCabe out there saying he's having torturous conversations with people about leaving the country because they're afraid Trump's going to throw them in jail. And so people at home do not know who that is. They know how much it costs them to fill up their gas tank, how much it costs them to buy groceries, and the fact that they can't buy a house. I do think that everyday stuff is going to hit with people much more than this talk of, Trump throwing everyone in jail.
Jesse, I saved the best question for you. Isn't it kind of...
I didn't do it.
Nicely done. Because you have something in common with these people. They think they're the center of the universe, and I feel that they believe that they are so important that they pose a threat to the country. It's almost like a humble brag that, like, oh my God, they're going to come for me. No, shouldn't Trump just call them up personally and say, "You'll be fine.
Just like that. You'll be fine, babe. So they saw the kind of attention and money Trump got when he got unfairly prosecuted. And that's what they want. They want a mugshot. They want a trial where all their colleagues go down and report on the injustice that they're receiving. You know, their ratings aren't great. They want to be popular again. They're not as influential as they used to be. So they want to be unfairly targeted. Because that's historical. They want to have Trump make history with them. So that's what that's about. This leak to Axios was significant. This was a leak from the highest levels of Biden world, saying that this is a losing campaign. And they name-checked Mike Donnellan, who's Joe Biden's oldest and dearest advisor, who's running a campaign for the first time not on policy. If you think about it, Jan 6 democracy and Trump's character is not policy. That's never even been tried in the history of presidential campaigns. Just Bush ran on the war. Obama ran on the war, Obamacare, and the economy. Trump ran on trade, immigration, and ISIS. Biden ran on COVID. Biden's running on genuine. I mean, that's the riskiest campaign strategy of all time. And if you look at polling doesn't change around June. It usually locks in right now. They must be freaking out, and they're trying to get a little distance from this losing campaign.
Polling moves around a little bit, though.
A little bit, not a lot, Harold. Not a lot.
We'll see.